inspire, empower. Grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you, 'cause real women don't bitch. No, real women don't. 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 Real women don't bitch.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. This is your proud host, August Crenshaw, aka Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I am the #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs because building mental muscle is necessary in order to implement successful business strategies. This show has been created for the woman who is not excuse-driven and needs help building a profitable business. I will be interviewing women from various fields who are willing to break the silence on struggles that specifically affect female entrepreneurs. Welcome to a show where I and guest speakers from time to time share our methods that help us beast our business no matter what is going on in our lives. Whether you are an online or brick and mortar business owner, this show is for you. We will hit every angle, personal, professional, and spiritual. Why? Because on any given day, you get hit with shit from a scenario involving one, more, or perhaps all of the above. It all impacts you and your mindset towards your business. I have made it my personal mission to provide a space where we dive deep into the BS we face on a day-to-day basis. Good morning, beautiful ladies. I'm in a different zone today, and I want to talk to you because there's something that's really hitting my spirit and my mind. And I want to talk about this whole thing with positive and negative energy, because as entrepreneurs, we talk about that, right? Attracting what you want, attracting abundance, manifesting stuff, getting out there, being your great self, and getting all these things that you're supposed to be. And so sometimes you have up and down days. And we know where a lot of those days come from. You know, your husband hasn't been as supportive. He's kind of cranky. You haven't had sex in a while because your hours working, his hours working. It isn't making sense. The kids seem to be more disobedient than usual, distracted than usual, needing your attention more than usual. Chaos is coming from your family. Maybe your parents are a distraction. You know, there's just so much stuff. You get bogged down by social media. You know, you got people that's hating, stealing your content. All kinds of stuff can like really give you, put you in a shitty mood. They can affect how you show up, how you perform. And so just think, we do all of this mindset work to make sure that we're strong no matter what. We learn all of these different strategies and techniques so that we can, you know, still do what we do around all of these distractions that we have in our life. And, you know, I don't necessarily talk to you guys a lot about dealing with spiritual warfare, dealing with negative energy. And because some things were brought to my attention by a very powerful shaman that I work with, I said, you know, I need to have this discussion on the podcast because there's so many things about she and I. It's amazing how we are miles apart. We're raised completely different. Both went on our own paths to end up somewhere, and so much of what we do is aligned. So the labels may be different, but our mindset and our spirituality towards so many things are so similar. And so I want to talk to you guys about negative energy because for me, the reason why a lot of people get affected by negative energy is because you don't know how to recognize it. And the best way that I can get you guys to understand this, for me personally, I believe, is to use the analogy with the devil. Because like when you think about a kid, the cartoons you watched as a kid, you'd see the person that's got to make a decision. And then on one shoulder, there'd be the angel whispering one thing in his ear. And on the other ear, there'd be this little, black pointed eared thing saying something that was wicked. And that's not the devil, or AKA negative energy. And a lot of you all get attacked by negative energy because you you don't recognize it when it's coming to you. You think that that stupid hating evil shit that people put on social media, somebody not liking your post, saying something negative on your comments, that's negative energy, and it's not. I used to tell people in church all the time that they'll quote the Bible that the devil only comes but to steal, kill, and destroy. But the devil is not an evil, ugly monster. So let's look at it from for the perspective of marriage. The devil doesn't come into your marriage and says, you know what, you just got married. Fuck that shit, bitch. Divorce his ass. You don't need this. No. Instead, what he does is he comes in and it's a really good friend and it's a colleague. You guys both get along very well and you're very respectful to one another. And when things are looking kind of ugly between you and your husband, he's a confidant and he's someone that you can speak to, but he's still just this nice, beautiful soul that, wouldn't dare cross any boundaries. But even though deep inside, he is so freaking sexually attracted to you, and you may be looking at him and thinking, well, he's a nice looking guy, but you're not thinking about nothing like that because you love your husband. And it's cool to have, friends of the opposite sex, right? But negative energy always seems to know when to be around and to be around in full force. And they say very subtle things like, yeah, but you got to make sure that no matter what, you're respected. They won't do like my one friend that's a marriage coach and start asking the right questions to make you feel convicted and to send you back home. And the whole time you never know that there's a subtleness to the way that they're speaking to you because they want you to begin to build up anger and anxiety towards your mate. And when that day comes that you hit that rock bottom spot because that person's been your confidant, then all of a sudden you guys end up sleeping together. I'm kind of creating a movie scene, right? But people do this for real. And then when it's over with, it's like, oh my God, you're married. I'm so sorry. I never meant to do that to you. And then bam, just like that, you've already put infidelity in your marriage. And it's coming from a place as, like it was just meant to be. It's just what happened. As if you don't have a self-control, as if you didn't necessarily ever read or feel those signs, and how one day it went from just being a handsome colleague that you were working with till, even though you were like, nope, I love my husband, but you were looking at him and saying, damn, he is fine sometimes. See, that's how negative energy works. It usually feels really, really fucking good in the beginning. And it's unexplainably good. And I'm not going to even lie to you guys. That's one of the reasons why I am so damn raw and authentic. When it comes to spiritual warfare, yes, people will talk to you. They will talk to you about prayer, about meditation. Some people burn sage. People use blessed oil. People bless their house. They, speak evil spirits out of their presence. They ground themselves. And there's a lot of different things that you do. But not that this means that I still can't be penetrated, but I want to talk about your fucking personality. Because I know I have this rock star energy and I know that people are magnetized to it. People that have evil intentions come to me with great energy. Oh my God, August, I just love you and I see what you do and it's just so amazing. It's so profound and sister girl and I want to work with you and so on and so forth. And the entire time, the only thing they're thinking is, and they may not even say it consciously this way. This is the sad part about people who are overconsumed with negative energy. Some of them are outright blatant users. And others are even tricking themselves into believing that they got to do what they got to do. And so these people, they will come and they will make it seem like we've got the same agenda, but we don't. And this doesn't mean that I never get penetrated, but I don't get penetrated as often. Because I come out with this like, yep, I'm raw. What you say? Nope, I don't like that. And I'm so in your face and confrontational with bullshit that I make people very uncomfortable to be around me. And so some people will stick around long enough to try to get what they want out of the situation, but most of them don't make it. And every once in a while, somebody does. And so I've literally had collaborations before where I was like, oh, hold up. You said you were one way and you showing me a different side, and I will cut that shit off.
See, the people that want to siphon your energy, the people that want to take advantage of what you have, the negativity that's around you, you keep missing it because you won't rely on your intuitional instincts. And so I had a conversation with this woman. She's like, hey, are you connected to this person on social media, such and such? I was like, nah. I said, because when I did have a conversation with this individual and they said so on and so forth, I just couldn't shake the way I felt. And y'all see, I'm not talking about being emotional. That's bullshit. I ain't talking about feeling kind of shitty, being in my feelings. Yes, we can have our feelings. But I'm just sitting here talking like sometimes when you say certain things or that person saying something, you be like, damn, why I feel weird. Even when you close to people, you be like, it just feels like the energy is shifted or something has changed. Now, sometimes that could be when you're in a relationship, that could be you being in your feelings. And that's why you have to step back sometimes and be like, wait a minute, what's really going on here? And so when I'm around people and I'm talking to them, like it's one of those things like one young lady that I used to work with who reached out to me and was like, oh my God, I want to talk to you and I want to do this. And can you do this for me? I just felt so freaking icky. And I was just polite. And I was like, well, I'm busy. I got such and such going on. You know what I'm saying? Maybe at this day I can talk to you later. And then when I got off of the thing or messenger with them, then all of a sudden I remember just feeling like, damn, that was just weird. And so there are people that do practice dark magic, black magic. There are people who are conscientiously wanting to take your style, your energy, your persona, and they literally want to not mock you, but they want to energetically pull from you. And so people might have thought I was crazy. While everybody's trying to get all of these fans, you don't need a whole bunch of fans to beast your business and to make money. The only thing you need is your loyal tribe around you of loyal people, paying customers who want to work with you. That is all you fucking need. And so I deleted over 1,000 people. And even this year, there are people that I'm not friends with. They didn't have to do anything shitty to me. They didn't have to curse me out, be wrong, be evil, steal shit from me, even though I blocked them bitches too. Let's just be real. And yes, I did say I blocked them bitches. Yeah, I know I don't just throw those terms around like that. But if you cross the point that I got to do all that shit to you, then that's just what it is. So sorry, a little bit of thug has to come out in this one. But you could be a regular everyday person. And if your vibe is off, I'm not fucking with you. And so this individual that reached out to me, and it's so funny to me that people keep reaching out to me about some of the same people over and over again. So I like the fact that, people are watching my back, but that also says something else to me, that whether they do whatever they little seances or whatever that shit is, the fact that shit keeps coming back to me about particular people, that lets me know that they trying to do some dark work or some black magic on my ass. And so I'm here to set the record straight. You do not have to be bound by anything negative. When you wake up and you feel like, why am I off today? Why is my shit off today? You better make sure that you allow your conscience and your spirit to be aware. You better make sure that you have empowered yourself to know that you're the only one that governs your temple, that you're the only one that has the ability to take control of it. Because the last time I checked, light overpowers darkness. Light and darkness cannot dwell in the same. See, the contrast between the two is needed. And if we want to get technical, there's a little bit of good and bad in everybody, but the overall embodying spiritual entity that reigns inside of you, that's a completely different dimension, is either good or bad. And so if I'm good and I'm around you and I can't shake this feeling that I have when we speak, when I think about you, even when I just look at a fucking picture that you post on social media of yourself, then I can't fuck with you. And so a lot of you all, because you haven't been taught to trust this side of yourself, you keep on fucking with people that you need to get the hell away from. And you can't understand what's going on with you. But they do evil things like try to practice mind control, try to siphon energy and try to get into your presence. They do, practical things like try to leech off of and poach clients and do shit like that. They do. But you can see it when it's somebody copied your post, but you can't see it when this pretty ass, hype ass person is smiling in your face. Because see, if anybody comes to you with a wicked ass face, you're like, oh, fuck that. I'm not messing with that. That's the devil. But when they come smiling and they have a beautiful, beautiful persona, that's when you all lose it. And you know what I'm talking about, because you'd be like, you know what? I wasn't even going to mess with you when I first met you, but now we friends. Then 5 years later, you want to kill a bitch when your first instincts was like, don't fuck with that person, because you don't know how to trust yourself. And in this game, you better know how to trust yourself. And when you see negative shit, you get it as far away from you as possible. Because until you learn how to gird yourself, it will creep in. Those subtle things will creep into your mind. They will affect how you show up and what you do. The devil, negative energy, it is not ugly. It is a beautiful, beautiful, magnificent, glorious illumination. It is light too. Why do you think that the makers of all of the dark evil shit in the music industry are called the Illuminati? Illumination. Okay? It is still a bright light with a dark source. Okay? So totally left field, right? You know, I don't even know. Some of y'all might listen to this podcast, so I don't even know if I'll be back. You're like, you use the business tips and nuggets, but trust me, this is important. I was talking to this woman last night, and when that name came up, she was like, she's like, yeah, I'm on her page now. She's like, oh my God, as I'm looking at her, she's like, I feel a pain in my heart, and I even actually feel a tightness as I'm doing this. But when she was speaking, I had this erratic sense of tingling sensations that started traveling through my forearms and from my fingertips through my forearms. And I had it only in that moment while the subject matter was that person. And it's almost as if I started feeling some type of vibration. But I promise you, if you go on this person's page, and if you look at them and if you listen to them, they look like they're doing great things in the world. They look like they have the best interest for people. But behind the power of what they're doing, it's wicked and it's evil. Y'all quote the scripture in the Bible sometimes that says, fret not over evildoers, though they seem to prosper. Y'all always looking at people and saying that they look like they prospering because you see money. They got money and you don't. Anybody and everybody can and should have money, and as much of it as you need. But it's not just that. It says, though they seem to prosper. See, why don't you really zero in on that? They seem to prosper. See, when you got money from a financial perspective, you ain't seeming to prosper. You are prospering financially. But there's another scripture in the Bible that said, beloved, above all things, I want you to prosper and be in good health as your soul is prospering. So you can actually prosper in health and wealth, but your soul could not be okay. So you can prosper in all of those other areas, but not be okay. So your soul isn't prospering. It is diminishing day by day. And there's somebody that I'm really closely related to who likes to smile a lot. And you know, whenever they're not really feeling great, they can't sleep and they have bad dreams. And they've been like that since they were a child. And so they'll smile and they'll say that everything is okay. They'll even justify their behavior, but they're so fucking stubborn that even after all of these years of knowing that that's a trigger for them to let them know that something's wrong, it still takes them hellas to deal with their shit. Y'all, this stuff is serious. And I'm feeling some kind of way to a high degree that there's some work, some prayer, meditation, and some things that I'm going to even go do after this podcast. Yes, on May 31st, 9:39 a.m., I'm literally coming in here to record this shit because of what I woke up with on my mind and airing this today. What would have been aired today can be aired next week. So I'll be interested to see what kind of comments I get from this, and we will further the discussion from there. This may even be the live topic for Monday. I love you guys. Learn to trust your vibrational energy, because you could really protect yourself from being around the wrong people.
Thank you for joining me today. Remember to cultivate a mindset that is biased towards taking action. No bitching, whining, or complaining. Here, our mantra is, real women don't bitch, we get shit done. See you next week as I continue to bring you what you need to keep your head in the game and beast your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Would you like a specific topic covered? Have a question you would like answered live? Then head on over to realwomendon'tbitchpodcast.com. Subscribe to my email list, hit me up, and I got you. Interested in being a guest speaker? You walk the walk? Then you can sign up on the website too. This is your #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs, Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless, signing out. Deuces!
Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you.